ever since like 2014 or so, I've had a very, very deep focus on the oil and gas space, and in so doing, I learned a lot about the industry and learned a lot about the long cycle CapEx starvation that's occurred. And so I've had a long-term view on this for a while, that I think this long cycle CapEx starvation between the period of 2014 and 2020 is ultimately going to create a pretty long-term structural bull market in oil, right? And so about a year and a half ago, this is probably when we first met, Max, is when I wrote this thread about how, this commodity inflation butterfly is going to flap its wings, and it's going to basically create the conditions for the Fed, which at that point was unthinkable that the Fed would even hike rates, right? But I made a kind of an out of consensus call at the time that the Fed would have to be very, very hawkish, which in turn would then create what I've labeled the USD wrecking ball. It would create the conditions for a very unusual situation where you've got rising commodity prices and a strengthening dollar at the same time, which would be very, very deleterious for emerging market economies, especially that are net importers of commodities like China, for instance. So all that part has played out so far, but you could argue that maybe those trends are a little bit long in the tooth.